Welcome back to another episode of Spective. Damn, it's been a while. It's been a minute. Yeah, it's been a couple of weeks. I don't know if you've noticed. You probably have. We haven't uploaded in a couple of weeks. There is a reason for that. We are currently experiencing the loss of a loved one. We've had a family member pass recently, and yeah, so we've been dealing with a lot of real life stuff, is what I'm trying to say. And the reason why we decided that we're ready to get back on and do an episode is because we came to the understanding that we don't have to come out the other side of it to then provide answers to people as to what everything is. Like, we can go through the motions,
just sit here and talk about it.
Like, we can figure it out. This podcast is not going to be about providing answers about how we felt about
some of the stuff we talk about. Maybe a year down the line we might be thinking, I don't feel like that anymore.
Exactly. We probably won't, but in true Spective nature, we have a podcast. We're going to speak about how we feel now,
right now,
and just kind of figure it out together. So provide context. We provide some context for the people. So I think it's been a couple of weeks now, 2 weeks. It was here Faisal's grandmother, my auntie.
Has paid out that you're my uncle though.
I think I did that before.
Episode 1 maybe.
Actually no, I called you my cousin. Did you? Oh, that's done now. Okay.
Now everyone knows you're old.
I am his uncle, and well, to be honest, how many years is it between us? 4 years? I think it's more than that, you know.
4 years.
4 years is crazy.
Double it, and then add a bit.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you're 21. Damn. Yeah, I'm your uncle. G, have some respect. I don't know why you don't call me. You actually do call me Unc. So yeah, I am his uncle. That has been baited. My auntie, my father's sister, his grandmother, she's returned to the Lord. So that now is prompting the conversation of today. That is going to be the basis. We won't go into details of how we feel, experiences we've had. We'll share some experiences, but what I want to gain from today is, just for your sake, for my sake, and for anyone that can relate, is how to go through the motions but not lose yourself in it. Does that make sense? Because like you said, in a year's time we might feel different, and it's one of the topics I want to bring up is like, is there ever an end to grief? Like, or do we just carry the load better? Like, is there an end? Does it ever feel? Because I can tell you from my experience, when I lost my grandfather, because you've lost a grandparent, I lost a grandparent 12 years ago, maybe 13 years ago.
Must be different to how it was back then.
Yeah, you're 2 weeks removed, I'm 12 years removed. So I can tell you from first hand that yes, over time the load does get easier to carry, but the hole never goes away. The person you lost, you've lost them forever, so that never gets filled, but you just life just carries on.
I think initially it's always a reality check first of all. Obviously when you initially lose them, there's lots of emotions that immediately flow, right? But then it is a reminder in terms of what the final destination is, from a religious point of view, from a humanity point of view. You're like, everyone's end destination on this world anyway is death, innit?
It's the only thing that is guaranteed and promised. You can make 100 predictions about your life. The only one that you can say is 100% true is that it will end. That's it. That's the only truth you can say, is that one day it will end. But in terms of grief, I do want to ask you, was there anything that surprised you in terms of how you feel now, how you might have thought you might have felt given one day, if you do feel, because if I'm not mistaken, this is probably the first experience you've had in your adolescence of a real close family member loss. So is there anything that surprised you in the way that you felt?
I'll probably say everything. Really? Because obviously I'm feeling everything for the first time. Every time I'm feeling a certain way, I'm like, what the hell is going on right now? Like she passed, I'm like, what the hell's going on right now? Like, people consoling me, I'm like, what the hell's going on right now?
See, that the face you made when you say that, and the words you're saying, to me looks like an out-body experience.
Yeah, exactly. Like, do you know what it is? I was saying this to so many family members. I kept saying, like, I feel like I'm dreaming right now.
Wow, okay.
Like, I feel like everything has like, I genuinely felt like it was all blur. Yeah, literally that.
It's because one thing that does happen due to our religion in Islam is because when someone passes, the burial happens very quickly. And then people come and gather in your house immediately. And then and they pray immediately, and then they bury quickly the next day. For us, it was literally the next day. Whereas in other religions and in other societies, there's a long period before the day of the burial, so you get to go through an entire process of grief before you actually get to bury the person. Whereas the person passes and the next day you're burying them the next day. So that's why it could feel like an out of body experience. Like these last 2-3 days were like, you look back at it, because it's been like a couple of weeks since, but those couple of days must have felt like one long day for you.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, there was obviously bare crying and stuff going on.
Of course.
But in terms of me actually deeping it, I think it was after the burial, after all the family was over and like every day just like giving their condolences and stuff. I was just sat down in my room, and then I was like, "Raw, that actually just happened."
Yeah,
I think it's after all that. I'll call it formalities, because that's what they are.
Yeah, it's that feeling of, now that you're alone, you can process it.
Yeah.
Whereas everything else, like you said, it was a formality, but it also acted as a distraction in a way in that moment, because you had so many people to interact with, so many things happening, so many things that you had to do in terms of prayers and the rituals and burials and all this stuff that, like I said earlier, going through the motions of so many things. You probably felt in that moment, or you can tell me in that moment, you were like, right, now that everything's out of the way, I can focus on how I feel.
I think grief, in my opinion, like I might feel different down the line, like we said, but I think grief as the emotion itself is so fragile. Like I mean that in the sense that when everyone was saying, right, when someone passes away, everyone says, you handle it your own way. Everyone goes through it differently. And I felt that to the extent of the spectrum of grief is massive.
Right.
And that's why I call it fragile, because if someone who reacts to it X way,
right,
then has an interaction with someone who's reacted to it the Y way, it can cause clashes. And now I understand why grief causes broken relationships. I fully understand it now,
because you think people are regulating how other people should grieve.
And with those clashes, you might be hot-headed, but the things that can be said in those interactions and maybe regretted later, but then those ties can be cut. Like, obviously I'm not talking from personal experience, because genuinely I feel like there was a lot of togetherness in our family.
Yeah, there was.
This is the perspective side of it, where I'm thinking, I was saying it to all my cousins as well, it's so easy to just become isolated.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that anyone did, but it's so easy, and it's so easy to start questioning a lot of things.
Yeah, to get in your own head, and because and this is why there is, even in Islam, there is a grace that's been given to us of a period where you can and are supposed to grieve, because God realizes more than anybody that in a certain moment, emotions will take over everything. It will take over your sense, your logic, your relationship. It will be the forefront of every action that you do, because feelings are so intense that when you're talking about some of the most heightened versions of those feelings, when it comes to love, loss, and these kinds of emotions, it's hard to regulate in that moment. You just have to feel how you feel. And like you said, there's every possibility that you can act in a way that you might regret later. But I think everybody has that understanding that you're only acting like this because you feel this way at this moment, and that can change. So like you said, luckily we didn't experience that, but there are certain circumstances where that happens, where people get into fights, or they argue, or they blame people for losses, and that's a different level of having to go through something like that.
Because I remember I said to you, I'd say we have a big family, right?
Oh, very big
family, and I'd say we were able to express our emotions, sadness, whether it be sadness, feeling numb, or not even knowing how to feel.
Yeah.
Right? I think when there's so much going on around you, it's probably the only emotion me personally I felt I couldn't express was anger. But you know what it was? It wasn't at anyone specific, and it wasn't channeled towards something. It was just anger that I just felt like, wow, I just want to punch a wall right now. Why though? But like I know I just lost my grandmother.
Emotion, yeah.
But why am I feeling so much anger?
Would you say that you suppress that anger?
100%.
Okay, so
there's I'm sure so many people do this as well.
Yeah, 100%.
In a sense where they could just scrap anyone that comes in their path.
100%.
But they don't, because they understand.
When things happen, anger comes out, and you can choose whether you want to showcase it to the world or what you want to suppress it. That's the strength that you hold, and you held a high level of strength because you were able to suppress it. But that feeling, if I can give you any reassurance, isn't an abnormal feeling angry, because you've lost a loved one. You're entitled, in a way, I would say, to be angry at the world, because there's nothing in this world that can replace what you've lost. So that anger comes out in that way. Some people give up, their heart is broken, but some people, they want to do something about it and they get angry. But either way, whatever that emotion is, so you said that surprise, that's what surprised you, yeah? In terms of emotions and how you feel. So would you say then that any of those emotions that you felt were selfish?
Yeah, I had a conversation.
Sorry, before you answer that question, there is too much noise outside. I don't
want to bet our location, but yeah, that's our location.
I'm gonna leave this in the edit. I'm gonna shut. We have somebody helping us that is gonna help us shut a window. Thank you very much.
That person's gas right now. They just got mentioned on camera.
They got mentioned on camera. Should I bait out the full government name? Yeah, we're gonna have to close some windows. It's gonna be hot in here, but I don't know what's going on with people today, but they're moving mad.
At least
beeps and all sorts.
Shiny on camera.
That window's fine. That one can be fine as well if you want to leave a window.
No, it's calm. Might as well just bake.
Just might as well be hot, innit? Yeah. Let's just be hot. Sorry, I had to do that because this is an important conversation. I don't want it to be lost in audio. So what I was saying, to get back to it, thank you very much, person behind the camera. What I was saying was, are any of those emotions that you were feeling selfish? And if so, why?
That's what I was saying. My brother came and had a conversation with me, and he was saying to me that what everyone's going through right now is selfish because of the fact that we all know the fact that she's in a better place right now, right?
Yeah.
So why are we crying? Are we crying for her? No, she's in a better place. So who are we crying for really? We're crying for ourselves.
I love that perspective because it gives so much understanding. And I had a similar conversation with your brother as well about the same thing. He said it to me as well. And I piggybacked off of that perspective and I carried it because I thought about it a lot. And I was like, it's true. We're grieving for us.
Yeah. Because
we can't see her again. However, like you said, if we have real belief in God in our heart, then we have to accept what He has told us. And what He has told us is that the hereafter, the life after the one we're living right now, is better than this one, which means she is in a better place. And if we believe the words of Allah, the words of God, then we believe it to be true that she's in a better place than we are.
Yeah.
So we are grieving for ourselves that we can't see her again. And what we shouldn't do is want her to return to us. We should yearn to meet her where she is, because she is in that better place. She is returned back to her creator. And that's what makes it selfish, in that, like you were saying, in that we're grieving for us, that we can't see her again. But we are entitled to do that because we are still here without her.
Yeah.
And we will be forever, for as long as we live now.
Yeah. And I think that's our perspective. I would say that's our perspective. But then you even as a Muslim, right, you can't help, like, this is me just as a person, right? I'm thinking through grief that my religion is what was the backbone to my strength. Do you get what I'm trying to say?
In this experience.
In my own experience.
Yeah.
But then I started thinking, like, I even said it to a lot of family members, because I was just thinking about, like, it's so easy to lose someone you love so much and just think, oh, like, I have this is making me lose my faith. Because people, I would say as well, me personally, my faith was strengthened from it. But this is what I'm saying now. Another perspective is someone who's religious, or even not religious, right? But someone who's religious can lose their faith via grief, in my opinion. 100%. And someone who's not religious then will just lose any hope they had left.
Yeah, and it's not even just grief. It's like injuries and illnesses can do that too.
Yeah,
like if a young up and coming footballer who's a Muslim, you know, he's on the trajectory to become a Premier League footballer, breaks his leg, snapped, career done. He could lose faith in his religion and in God, because he could lose himself to the idea that everything I wanted in this life it was right there and it's been taken away from me. But that's the beauty of Islam, in that when you really have a good connection to it, you understand that we plan our whole lives.
Yeah.
And Allah plans, God plans, and He is the greatest of planners. His plans are always better than ours, because how can we plan better than the one that created everything that we're grieving? He created the one that we're grieving.
Yeah.
That person belongs to Him, and yet we're grieving them, and yet we expect to know what's better for that person than the one who created her. That can't be the case. It literally can't be the case. So like you said, it strengthened your belief, but we do understand perspectives.
Yeah.
That some people can lose their connection and their iman or their faith to God, because like you said, the anger can take over, the emotion can take over, and emotions are so tricky. They're so tricky because they can override anything that you might have felt or believed, or any logic you had your whole life. It can be gone in a moment because of an emotion. That's how powerful they are. And that's why in a lot of our conversations in previous episodes, and now in this one too, it has been led with emotion. Like, we mention emotion a lot, and we have in all of our episodes. And I think people will start to notice that we talk a lot about emotions, because we understand that emotions are
life. It is what leads your life.
So powerful. I feel like this episode is going to have a lot of cuts today.
Yeah.
Sorry, that was an interruption. Somebody came into the room, and that was them again. Wow, there's a lot happening today. And
it's hot. So
there's a lot happening today, not just in our environment, but I think mentally as well. So that's why this guide is in front of us is good, so we can stick to the principle of the conversation. I'm going to refer back to it now so that I can help me.
It's so hot right now.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So we can agree that grief is selfish.
Yeah.
But
to a certain extent.
Yeah. But we can also agree on the fact that we are entitled to be selfish.
Yeah, literally, that's what my point was going to be.
Yeah.
It's like, cool, you can come to me and you can give me all the Islamic, I would call it consoling. Because when people come and say Islamic things to you, they're trying to console you with that sense of peace. And it does give you peace if you really believe it, and I do. Right, I do believe she's in a better place. Then I'm like, cool, I still need to process my emotions though.
Yeah.
Cool, I accept that. I accept that it's Allah's plan, and I accept that, and I believe that she's in a better place. That doesn't mean I'd be happy now.
Because the one of the main reasons why you have that responsibility to control your emotions in that sense is because it's not just you that is grieving.
Yeah.
You have family members that are grieving right beside you. Younger, older, same age. And I say responsibility because it's a bit of a harsh term, but it is that, because when you're talking about solidarity between people, is that if in a chain, if one breaks, the whole thing can fall apart. So it's that strength that you need to show to the others around you, that people really, and it's a thing, and it's something that my sister has said to me, and other people have said, I've seen to say to other people, in that a person can provide you with a sense of calmness and a sense of strength. Like, you can gain strength off of somebody else, and it's not even related to the situation. You can just see how they act or react in a certain situation, and that could give you a different feeling just by observing them. It's a thing.
And I think this is what I was talking about, the clashes earlier. I think how you react in grief is very, very linked to how you've gone through the hard times in your life, your own personal things.
100%.
For example, what I meant by that, worded it badly, is when whenever I have any sort of mental health problems or I'm going through something, I feel like I've gone through those things alone, right? In the sense that I might talk to someone about this, that and the other, but in the reality, I've gone through it alone. So now when I've lost someone, I'm thinking all of this support is coming my way. What the hell do I do with it?
Because we've all lost that same person.
Exactly.
Whereas in the conversation you mentioned about mental health, it's like you feel that and only you feel that, because everybody's unique to their circumstances. So what you're feeling in that moment, it feels lonely, because I can comfort you in that situation, but I can't feel what you're feeling.
And that's why that's the point I'm making, is I'm not linking this to me. I'm making it a perspective of this is why people react differently when they feel the same pain. You get me?
Because they have
because of the ways they've handled their own personal pains. You know what I'm trying to say now?
It's like everyone is unique to their circumstance.
Exactly. And because they're unique to their own circumstances, when they're all grouped within one circumstance, it's chaos. They're all reacting differently.
So is that, can you regulate that? Should you regulate that? Or should you just let that be?
I think it's a sense of letting it be. Right. I think...
And just understanding that everyone reacts differently.
This is what I meant by fragile. It's too difficult to actually know what to do.
Yeah, because like, for example, like we mentioned anger earlier, if somebody was to display anger in a moment, and but behind it is grief, you have to understand. What you can't do is shut them down in that moment. You have to understand that, behind the reaction to what they're showing is the same feeling that you have. Yeah,
literally. The foundation of it is the same.
Yeah, you're both feeling the same thing. They showed it differently to you. Just have a bit of understanding in that moment.
Yeah, for me, like, this is the thing. Now, I'm going to talk about my personal experience, is I started work, like employment, what was it? So 29th Wednesday, what was the 3rd? 4 days after I started work.
Yeah, your first official job. Congratulations, by the way.
Yeah,
first official job. And by the way, since graduating, which we're going to talk about in future episodes, a lot has happened. Like, we've experienced loss, but you've also had in that time, graduation, first job, all these big monumental moments. Sorry, did not cut you off.
It's fine, but it's like, I'm then thinking, first of all, I'm thinking, cool, shall I delay my start date? But then I'm thinking, cool, Islam says grieve for 3 days, and then that 4th day was my first day of work.
Wow.
But then now I'm driving to work on that 4th day. I'm thinking, well, what is going on? Again, I feel like I'm dreaming.
Out of body, yeah.
And even from my first day of work to now today's date, which is 11 days after that, yeah?
Yeah.
So it's been, 2 weeks, literally, two in a day maybe. I'm still thinking, what the hell? Because that's the purpose of this episode. Because I did want to come and talk about the fact that it's been 2 weeks. I'm living my life like Islam tells me to. But in my head, I'm thinking, I'm trying so hard not to swear right now. Instead of saying, what the hell? I think you know what I want to say. But in my head, I'm driving to work. It's like I'm on autopilot. I'm driving to work. I'm thinking,
which is interesting because you work for self-driving car.
Literally that.
Self-driving taxis. No, but okay. So, would you say that you feel guilty in the fact that you are now? You are now back in the routine of life. To similar to what it was before you experienced the death when she was here, and now you're back in a routine only a few weeks removed. Do you feel guilty about that?
100%. I'm thinking, for me, it's like a sense of why, because I'm living my life, not moved on. I'm living my life. In my head, I'm thinking, like, why? How am I moving? Not moving on. How am I living my life so easily? Why is it not? Like, why have I not stopped everything? I'm thinking, like, it's a weird sensation I'm feeling.
Yeah.
Because I lost my words there. I was very, very close to my nan, right?
100%.
Yeah, and
100%.
The loss was very, very hard.
Yeah, it hit deep.
And then this is what I'm saying now. 4 days later, I'm going to work. I'm thinking, why am I going to work right now? Like, I'm living my life, but I'm still in pain, but is this me ignoring my pain? Is it me suppressing my pain? Or is it me living with my pain?
Yeah. Do you feel like you could be doing something else with that time? Like you should spend that time mourning her? Or do you think it's healthy to carry on a routine?
I don't know.
So you don't have the answer to that, which is
why
okay.
I don't have the answer to it, because I'm in the middle of it.
Exactly.
And you can give your opinion on it.
Well, yeah, because when I lost my grandfather 12 years ago, and the reason I'm using that, because we've had losses in between. I've lost because I've lost my auntie 2 weeks ago. I lost my other auntie 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Another one of my dad's sisters. So I can pinpoint these scenarios, but to relate to you right now, I'll talk about a grandfather, because like you, I was very close. I was as close to my grandfather as you was to your grandmother. And we're very similar in the sense that the other grandparent we lost when we were very young, and we have very little memories of. Like, I know you have no memories of your granddad. I have very little memories of my grandma, because I was young when she passed. However, your grandma and my granddad, we were so close to them to the point where he lived with me in my bedroom, in the bed next to mine, for about 6 years before before passing. So I was extremely close to him, and I can remember at the time I was 16 when he passed. So yeah, at the time I was like, what do I do? I felt guilty coming back into my bedroom, and I remember my dad was saying, right, you can take, because I had a single bed and he had the double bed next to me, and my dad was like, hey, you can take that double bed now, you can have the big bed. And I felt guilty even. I was like, no, that's not my bed. That's granddad's bed.
Yeah.
I don't want that. It's his. But he's like, well, you got the small bed. You can have the big bed. You got the room to yourself now. And obviously that it wasn't said in a harsh way. It was said in a loving way. I was only 16 at the time. And it was like, I was thinking, no, because I felt guilty. I was like, no, I'm taking his bed. Yeah. I'm taking the bedroom to myself.
Is that like me? Is that us just like moving on from the fact that he's gone?
Yeah, and it's like, am I supposed to? Because it's the first time in a long time I have a bedroom to myself. I should be, I should think of this as a new chapter, but I didn't. It was, and it was, and in those moments I realized it was the little things like that weighed heavy. It wasn't the fact that, oh, he's not going to be at this thing in my life, this thing in my life. It was the fact that his bed was next to mine and I can't use that anymore. It's the little things like that. These are the things that weigh heaviest. And it's interesting because we spoke to my cousin, your uncle, who was the son of who passed away, our family member passed away, her only son. And it's interesting because the day of the burial, one of my cousins was like, right, say something to us, give us a couple of words of wisdom. And he was reluctant to do so because he just lost his mother and he lost both parents now. But I hope he doesn't mind. I'll share something that he said.
Because I think he showed tremendous strength.
Oh no, yeah. That's
to the point where I was trying to think in his perspective. I genuinely couldn't. Like, I know this podcast we're supposed to specialize in perspective. I cannot even start to think about the perspective of losing a mother. I can't.
Yeah, we don't know. We don't know. And there are people that can relate to him. I have cousins that can relate to him because they lost a mother too. Only they can know what they're feeling. We can't. And what he said was very interesting because it's similar to what I was just talking about, in the sense that he said, when I think back at my mother, I don't, and this was like a day after she'd passed, I don't miss the big moments, the weddings, the family events, the big moments. I miss giving her a cup of tea. I miss sitting with her and watching TV. And it's so interesting because your cousin, my other nephew, the one who lived in that same house with her for all these years, and I hope he doesn't mind I'm saying this as well, is that when we had a moment alone, just me and him, on the day of the burial, he said, I miss just giving her medicine.
Exactly.
Like, just little things like that.
It's not always good things, like you said. For me, the things I miss, like, they're not always good things. What I'm going to give an example now is, there would be times where, for example, if I was at uni or there was a few days or a week I didn't go see her, she'll tell me, oh, you haven't seen me in a while. Or at uni she'll be like, oh, you haven't called me in a while. But I miss her saying that. Yeah. You get me?
Because she'll never say that again.
Exactly.
And that's what we've lost. And that's the thing that weighs heavy. And I remember feeling that same way with my granddad. It was like, and it was the things that, like you said, like she was annoyed at you in that moment, right? She was telling you off in that moment. Exactly. But you would do anything for her to tell you off again. In the same way that maybe in that moment, like I remember, if I could give you a personal example, my granddad had dementia.
Yeah.
Towards the end of his life. So those years where he was staying with me in my bedroom, in the bed to my right, sorry, he had dementia at that time. So there would be moments and days where I would have school the next day, and it would be 4 o'clock in the morning or 5 o'clock in the morning, something crazy like that, and he would just be like, he would be like screaming at me saying, I'll say it in Urdu and I'll say it in English so people can understand. He'll say, You're about to butcher
this Urdu right now.
It's simple phrases. It was simple phrases. I can do this one. From the last one, I've got so many people come up to me and say, what? You said this, you said that. And I said it wrong as well. It's crazy. But he would say, yada, and he'll bang me like this, yada, which means friend, mate.
Yeah.
Right? Like, mate, he was saying, yo, friend. Like, he was saying that, yada. And then I could hear him. And I would open my eyes and I'd wake up and I would hear him, and I could see the time. It was like 4 a.m. and I would just pretend like I didn't hear him.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go back to sleep. He'll stop. He wouldn't stop. Yada, and then I'll be like, Hanji Dadabu, which means yes, granddad. And then he would just look at me and be like, Ato theek hai? That's it. Just say that, which means, are you okay? That's it. Wake me up 5 o'clock in the morning. Just like consistently wake me like to the point where he won't stop until I've woken up, just to tell me, are you okay? And I said like, yes, I'm okay. Okay, fine. And then he'll go back to sleep. Again, that was the dementia. And like, I remember at the time, in that moment, thinking, oh my God, I got school tomorrow. And I was so like, I'm going to be tired. And I was feeling all these feelings of like, oh, my day's all upside down now. But after he'd passed, I remember the feeling of, I would do anything to be woken up at 4 o'clock in the morning today by my granddad and disturb my sleep schedule. I don't care about how my day is after that. Like, you can disturb my sleep schedule and my school days can be upside down. I'll do anything just to have him wake me up again.
It's that saying, isn't it, that you don't know what you have until you lose it.
You don't know what you have until it's gone, 100%. And it's why in those moments, it's the small memories that weigh heaviest.
Good or bad. That's
good or bad, it doesn't matter, because then it gives you it goes on to a good perspective of like, right, if you know now that you would even miss the times that annoy you. You have other people in your life right now that are still alive. So the next time they annoy you, does that not give you a sense of, I'm gonna miss this with you? If you were to leave next week, I'd miss that. Right now I'm so annoyed at you, but if you were to leave next week, I would miss that.
Yeah,
and that will give you so much perspective about the people that are around you today,
and grief in general, because you get so many situations of people who have horrible relationships with their parents, right? And genuinely haven't talked to them in donkey years.
100%.
And then they pass and they feel grief. Why? I thought like there's so many people that say, I hate my parents. I haven't talked to him in years. I never talked to him. I hate him. I hate her.
But they feel it when. But
the grief is all the same.
It's so powerful. It's one of those things where it has to be that powerful because the emotion of love is that powerful. So to counteract love, the emotion, it's like we have this understanding that God has a beautiful balance to the world. It's that you can't feel happiness without understanding what sadness is. You can't feel excitement without being bored out of your brains. In the same way that you can't really feel the power of grief if you haven't felt the power of love, loving someone.
It's polars.
That's the balance that God has created, and that's why He understands that you have to mourn, because you've felt such a powerful emotion in love and connection to somebody that when they go, no matter what transpired between you, because you felt that at one point, when they leave, that feeling of grief is going to be as heavy as that feeling of love that you felt.
Cool. Now I'm going to ask you a question. I'm going to take over a little because a question just came to my head. Yeah,
go for it.
People lose the ones they love, right?
Yeah.
And they can think of it like that. Love, loss comes from loving, right? So what would you say to a person, or what's your opinion on people who say, I've lost someone, I am now going to stray away from loving anyone because I don't want to go through loss ever again?
Okay, that's interesting, because what I would say to that is you're missing out. That's what I would say to them, because what you're saying is that in order to avoid the feeling of the feeling of loss, I'm not going to love anymore. So you're foregoing one of the most powerful emotions because of the opposite spectrum of it. That's like saying, I am never gonna be happy again, so that I don't know what sadness is. So you're gonna feel numb. But what you're doing is, you're not living then.
Yeah.
Because that is what living is. It's all of these emotions. What you are doing is taking the easy way out. Because life is about experiencing every single emotion you can with every single person you connect with, and the strength comes with being able to take the grief because you had the opportunity to feel the love.
That's what I realized I'd say my teenage years, where I struggled with mental health, right? And I was always saying, I want to be happy, and then it came to a point where I realized that is not how life works.
It's not.
It's really not how life works. If you have a life of just happiness, you're not really happy. Your life is you're supposed to have days where you don't feel great. So happiness isn't a perfect every day you're happy all the time, 24/7, right? You can go through the emotions, you go through happiness, you go through fear, but just you as a character and as a person, that's your life, that's who you are.
And that's the beauty of the balance, because imagine a life of just being happy from now until the day you die. That's an empty life.
Yeah.
Because are you ever going to truly feel happy then? If you're just happy from now until then, are you happy? Or are you just in a constant state?
I think it is. Another reason why I think that's impossible is because a lot of people, they're happy when they get what they want. Right? A lot of people, I say money is the broad one, maybe cars or girls or whatever, right? But no matter what, whenever you have it, and for a period of time, however long it may be, then you reach another level of unhappiness. That's a different level of unhappiness when you're unhappy after you've had everything that you thought could make you happy forever.
That's a different perspective you've gained on life, is that now you might have a better relationship with sadness after that, because you knew what sadness was like before you had it, but now you feel sadness after you've had the thing. Now you're like, oh, so what actually is happiness and sadness? Is it the thing? Is it the feeling? That's just like unlocking different dimensions to your life and understanding that these emotions are fleeting. They come and go. You don't worry about it. Next day you feel them all again.
And that's why, even though it sounds like we're talking about it in such a deep way, I think the point we're trying to make is, don't make it that deep.
It's true. It's counterintuitive to what we're saying. It's like, just go through the motions and understand
that's what life is.
Yes, understand that is life, and understand that you don't need to have the answers to them, because I don't think we provided any answers.
No, definitely not.
As thus far, but we've just expressed how we felt, and we're using religion and the words of Allah, the words of God, to comfort us in that, because we're not trying to preach what Islam says about death. We're trying to express how we find comfort in the words of God and in our loved ones and in the experiences that we felt around us that helped us go through those motions, the same motions that, like you said, felt like a blur. But you got through those days.
And one thing you said is, like, with family, like, for me, I would say I definitely got so close. I've gotten so much closer to my siblings and my cousins since that. Right?
There was a moment where last Thursday, I think it was Thursday, you came home after work late, and I remember your cousins. I was sitting in the room in your nan's house that we were there in the front room with your cousins, younger cousins, and your brother was there. And I remember you walked in, and they were like, yo, Faisal, I haven't seen you in 3 days. That's mad. And I remember saying to them, he's been in uni in Swansea for the past 3 years. He's been gone. And you've felt more away from him in the last 3 days than you have in the last 3 years.
That is mad.
And I
haven't even thought about it.
And I remember saying to them, yo, like, as a joke, I just said to them, what did you do when he was in uni, for God's sake? And they said to me, nah, it's different now because we feel so much closer over the last few days. And it's exactly what you just said. It's that closeness, that bond that new level of bond you've created.
And I think it's because we all understand that, okay, there's so much pain and sadness in the fact that our grandmother's not here anymore. But we know that the only thing she would have wanted was for us to become closer. And we all understand that. And that's why I think it happened so naturally.
And that was one of the superpowers of your grandma, was connecting people. That's what she did. She did it her whole life.
Because we said we won't go into details, but there's some things that have to be known. That she was a superhero.
She was 100%.
And the fact that when I was talking about the few days that where lots of people were coming and giving condolences, when I say lots, I mean lots, to the point where people I've never seen before, and to the point where I'm thinking this woman had an effect on so many people's lives.
Yo, we can't even comprehend like the reach, and it is because of the way, you know, they've remembered how they lived. That's always the case. You always remembered how you lived, and the overwhelming responses we got from after she'd passed tells you everything about the way she lived.
Yeah,
that is the best way you can describe it.
Yeah, like we don't have to, like, again, we're not going to go into details, but one thing for you guys watching, she was a G. That's what I'll say.
She was the GOAT. She was the GOAT. And go on. Sorry,
I was going to say, the thing about just cousins that made me realize is so much togetherness and this and that. But then there's so many people that have to go through it alone. And the graveyard is where we realize that.
Oh man,
it's crazy.
That the story of the day of the burial. Should we get into that story?
Yeah.
I really want to tell this story because again it encompassates.
I have no clue.
I shouldn't even attempt it. I don't know why.
You give the story. I'll do some more.
It tells you everything you need to know about her. And the story is not even about her. That's the crazy thing about it. So when it comes to Islam, right, burials and all these things, we're taught to have patience when it comes to death, when it comes to grieving. We're taught to have a lot of patience, but the thing is that the patience, I think, is a bit misunderstood in that it's not about doing nothing. The patience comes in having trust. Having trust that the plans we made are not on the level of the plans that Allah has made, that God has made. So we need to trust that you are allowed to do X, Y, and Z, and there is wisdom behind all of that. But understand that there are reasons why things are set in place, and have that trust and that patience. That's where the patience comes in, that everything has been done for a reason. There's a wisdom behind it. And one of the things that there is a lot of wisdom in is the fact that there is only men attend the burial. Guys, our whole life we've known that when it comes to burying someone, we bury the loved one, we pray over the body as they're being buried, and then once they're buried, we continue and we pray, and then as the last person walks away, that's when their journey in the afterlife starts. That's when the questioning starts. So I was thinking about this the other day, the perspective of, well, we have such a deeper perspective than women, for example, because we see firsthand. So, like, you, for the first time in your life, lowered somebody into a grave, which is your grandma. You lowered her into a grave. We see on multiple occasions people being buried, and then the dirt being piled on top of them, and the digger coming around and just like piling it on, and we see all of that firsthand. We even get to see the grave before they enter. We have a little peep into the grave and see, wow, look at that empty grave. I don't think a woman has ever seen that, because they see the burial after. And there's wisdom behind that, and I hope that there is somebody out there that can, because we don't know the wisdom behind that, somebody can share that in the comments, or somebody can tell us the wisdom behind it. So the reason I say that is because the story goes, when we were burying your nan, my auntie, at first, I don't know if you remember, there was an empty grave at the start of a certain section, and it was one grave by itself, and it was just there. It was the only one in that section. It was like the first. That's where
she was going to be buried, right? My God! I don't even know if you know another part of the story, but carry on.
Do you want to say it now or after?
No, I'll say it after. I'll say it after.
So we thought, we were all standing around that grave thinking this is where she's going to be buried. And I remember saying things like, wow, she's the first in this section, she's going to greet everyone else that comes. I remember saying all these things like, wow, we're looking into it. Then last second, because there was another family that also had a burial at that same time, and the last minute it was like, no, sorry guys, their burial is being here, your burial is over there in the other section. So we had to go 100-200 meters up the road to then go to where the actual grave was. Now this is important to the story. All of it is important to the story I'm about to tell, because it displays the beauty of Islam, and it displays the understanding that God is planning on a different level. So we now, as an entire family, maybe it was 40 of us that attended that burial, something along those lines. Maybe more,
as in everyone that was there
at the burial.
A lot more than 40,
60, 70, maybe, right? A lot of us. So we now all migrate over to the next section where the actual burial is. We do the burial, you lower her into the grave along with your cousins and your uncle and everyone, and then we pray. We finish praying. But I noticed, and a lot of other people noticed, that as we were finishing the prayer, there was another person being carried right behind where your nan was being buried. Right behind. But what we noticed was that there was one lady holding flowers, which again is a shock because ladies aren't usually there, and behind her were 3 men, and there was 3 white gentlemen in suits and a black lady in front with flowers. Now, the only reason I'm saying race is just to paint a picture. It's not that it's relevant to the story. Just to help paint a picture. That was the scenario. And you could see that it was very likely that they weren't Muslim. Yeah. Right? It looked like that. The way they were there in suits. And I know that's a very Christian way of attending like funerals. They're suited, and whereas we go a lot more dressed down because we know we're going to have to help with the burial. So anyway, we see that happening, and the people are carrying the body and they're behind. And one of my cousins went over to the lady to ask, can we, I think because there was nobody there was no family, it was 2 people, three people max. So my cousin went and asked.
Pretty sure it was just her.
Yeah, they left. That's right. They left.
I'm pretty sure just her.
The 3 gentlemen in suits, they left when the burial was happening.
Do you know what I think? It's because I don't think those people had anything to do with the person being buried. I think they came just to go and bury that person.
Oh, as support. But they left very early. Yeah. So it was just this one single lady by herself. So my cousin went up to her and said, just ask, like, who's being buried? And, like, just a bit of a backstory, like just to give her some comfort in the moment that they're burying by herself, burying somebody. She then informs us that the person being buried is a lady right behind you where your nan's being buried, an 85-year-old revert to Islam who has no family.
Yeah,
mad. And the person who was there, I don't even think she was a family member. She might have been a friend, or she a distant family member. The lady being buried, 85-year-old revert to Islam, no family. My cousin runs over to where we are, and it's literally like 1 second away, like it's literally right there. Comes over to us, makes a huge announcement. Everyone stopped, because at that point our burial had finished. And we were just there doing extra prayers. And he made the announcement. He said, if everybody has a moment, there's an 85-year-old lady reverted to Islam recently who's been buried with no family. Come and attend her burial if you have a moment. There were 50, maybe 60 people that ran over to that grave, our family, and stood by her and prayed by her grave as she was being lowered into her final resting home. Like, the fact that she had no family, no Muslim person even there to read over her, while she was only one person that was there who wasn't Muslim and just was recording or FaceTiming the whole thing.
Yeah, we're just recording.
And just recording it. There was nobody there praying for this lady as she was buried. And in a moment, 60 people praying over her body as she's being lowered into the grave. Now that is the qadr of Allah. That is Allah planning. Because now go back to the story. Had our family member not been buried there and been buried where originally we thought she was going to be buried, we wouldn't be there for that moment.
Person would have been buried alone.
My cousin wouldn't have been there to ask the question, to then bring us all over there. Number 1. Number 2, had we, because we were waiting around for the burial for about 30 minutes because there were delays. Now those delays is what aligned so perfectly for our burial to finish and hers to start. So what we were even waiting around for, we don't know. That's what we were waiting around for. Do you see the timing and the understanding that God is planning on a different level? That He wanted this person who's an 85-year-old revert to be prayed over before she enters her resting home. And we have the honor. I am so honored that I was a part of that we were chosen to do that. But everything worked out so perfectly for it to happen like that, in that moment. That I'm getting goosebumps thinking about it. Is that lady who was there? She was, I don't know if you saw her face. She was so bamboozled by what was happening. She got her phone out.
She started recording. Even with the prayer, she just started saying Ameen with the rest of us as well.
She was like, Amen, Amen. She literally could not believe. Her hand was shaking, and she was recording, and she was going around like this, and she was like, look how many people are here. Like, she couldn't believe that she went to that funeral, that burial, thinking nobody's gonna be there, just me, to 50 people praying over her as she's being buried. Like, That is the beauty of this religion. That is the beauty of Islam. And that is the best example I can give you of God's plan being unfolded before you. And like we were in the moment, we were annoyed. Why is there delays? Why are we moving to another place and not this place? And look at the result of all of that.
You think, I actually don't think you know this, is that cool now we've gone the Friday after.
I think
it was 2 days after, so the Friday of that week.
You went back to the graveyard.
Yeah, cool. There's two, I think a small, maybe a father and a son, on the grave next to my nan. Yeah, next to. I'm talking about. Cool. She's here. This person's here.
Neighbor,
cool.
Yeah.
My uncle starts talking to them. Yeah, just talking to them because like just. We're right next to each other, why not? He starts thinking, is this your mom? He's like, yeah. He's like, where are you guys from? He's like, oh. And then they say our area. Cool, that's a mad coincidence.
Wow.
And then he was like, oh, where? And he was like, he says the road. Now you tell me.
Our road?
No. You tell me, right? No, yeah. You tell me how that cemetery, right? A radius of how many ever miles anyone can get buried there.
If there's a multitude
anyone,
of people,
right?
Yeah,
now you tell me, right? You can call this coincidence, you can call this whatever you want. I just need you to tell me how that person next to my nan lived on the exact same road as her.
No way.
Tell me.
And that means they were buried recently as well, because it
was the plot next to her, so it would have been buried before.
Just before that she passed away.
The same road.
Wow, I was going to say the road then. Wow. No, but here's the thing. I genuinely, I've been saying this for years, I don't believe in consequences. I don't.
No, yeah, I can't.
That's her neighbor. Like, that's her neighbor in life. No, that's her neighbor in the grave.
That's what I'm saying. Bro, even to this, like, even right now, I'm saying it again. I'm like, what the hell?
Honestly, I don't believe in consequences. It ties into what I'm saying, that Allah's plan is greater than our plan. And another thing I want to mention about the story about the burial is that when we left the burial and we went to go pray afterwards and eat and all that, I saw my mum first, and I went up to her and I was like to her, she was like, how's the burial? I told her this story straight away, the story of the burial. That's the first thing I told her. I was like, you'll never guess it. There was an 85-year-old Reva, and I told her the story. The first thing she said was, it had to be her burial. It had to be your nan's burial that happened. Because remember I said, they will be remembered how they lived. And how was she lived for togetherness and bringing people together. And just as she left this world, after she left this world, for one last time, she had to bring people together to do something for somebody who is, again, a neighbor to her in the grave. Not her direct neighbor who's the person on her road, but the person just behind her. She had to bring people together one last time so that they can do good for somebody in her vicinity. Like, that is, you couldn't write stories like that. Because we say storytelling, this, that, and other. Allah writes on a different level, bro. He says it, He plans, we plan. And Allah is the greatest of planners. Coincidences are one thing, but living life and understanding that, just submitting yourself to His plan is another thing altogether. Doors will open. That's something I'm trying to practice more, is like, just go through any door that feels like it's opened from God, because you have no idea where that can enter. That gives us comfort and allows us to seek solace in the fact that, cool, we lost a loved one, and that hurts, but the plan is unfolding exactly how it's supposed to. And these little stories are what strengthen our faith. When you said that your faith was strengthened, it was these experiences and these stories that strengthened our faith and made us like understand that, cool, we're not gonna not grieve, but we are gonna understand that it's happening how it's supposed to. So we accept it. We can grieve, that's fine, but we can also accept this is how it's supposed to be. And we did grieve, and honestly, we're still grieving. Like you said, that's not gonna go away. It's like we said earlier, it doesn't go away. You're able to carry it better. That's fine. We can do that. That's fine. But there's a level of acceptance that comes along the way. That's like, wow, things are happening exactly how they're supposed to happen.
Yeah,
and that's what I've learned.
But I think at the same time, from different perspectives, again, it's like it's very easy to reject that idea.
Yeah,
I think a lot of people can say, no, it's unfair. and this is not how it should have been. But I think now, even moving away from Islam, right? If you just think it from a point of humanity, because I don't want to give an answer that can only apply to Muslims, for example.
Yeah, when I say this, sometimes the world.
But my point is, yes, you should grieve and you should try and accept it for what it is. But it's like, in any point of view, like religious, non-religious, that person, if that person is looking down on you, right, and they're seeing you be sad and in pain for such a long amount of time, they're thinking, my death did that to them. Like, I don't want them to live like that.
100%. They would want you to only remember them. They would want you to move on.
Yeah, like, for example, if people say just go, like, live like in the memories, for example, talk about their memories, right? The memories you have with them. And it makes so much sense, because cool, they're not with you right now, but if that person was looking down at you and they were looking at you, sorry, I'm going to reword that. If that person was looking down on you, do you think they would want you to be crying? Or do you think that they would want you to be remembering all the happy moments you had with them, or even sad moments, just remembering the memories with them?
And they wouldn't want you to be held back in life because of their loss. They'd want you to flourish. And it's hard to flourish when you're grieving and you stop your life because you feel paralyzed and because you've lost someone. But they wouldn't want that. But it's amazing how we've come to that conclusion after saying earlier the guilt of moving on. We've now come to a conclusion of, well, they wouldn't want that. It's mad because we feel paralyzed. However, they wouldn't want us to feel like that. We think that they wouldn't want us to feel like that. We assume that. And we've garnered that perspective through the conversation, which is amazing. And again, I say that we've come to a conclusion. There was so many parts of the conversation today. If we are gonna, bring it to a.
That's my main thing, is that you can't give a conclusion on grief, because grief does not conclude.
It doesn't, because everyone feels it so differently. It's because there is no wrong way to feel it. That's why you can't govern as the police are going by. You can't govern how someone else grieves, because there's no wrong way to do it, and therefore if you can't govern it, you can't give an answer as to how you should grieve.
Exactly. And that's why I feel like we've not told anyone how you should do things.
No, we've explored our ways, how we've seen other people,
how you could go through it. Try and give perspectives.
What it does do is it changes your perspective on the people who are living in your life now, the things you are yet to achieve in your life. You have to now understand that, right, you have a decision to make now, in that moving forward, do you let it affect your family, your relationship with your family members? Do you let it affect your ability to want to achieve big things in this life? Do you want it to get in the way of your purpose? Does it add to your purpose? All these things is like, you have to now, as you go through this journey, you're 2 weeks removed, you're not going to have the answers to this, but in every moment you have to regulate whether it's going to be a hindrance or whether it's going to be an obstacle you can overcome. And because you felt that love, and that love is gone, and the loss is heavy. So we just have to. It's so interesting. It's like how we ended the last episode. We said in the last episode we were rambling, but it's an analogy to life, that life doesn't make sense. In the same way that we are going full circle in these arguments, because we understand that we can go back and forth, because grief is exactly that. You feel it, then you don't. You feel it, then you don't. It's the same analogy. It works the same way, in that grief is like this episode. It's like there is no answer. There is only how you feel, and then there is how you execute on how you feel. That is it. And if you want to give any final words.
My thing is just, the main thing about grief is just something that you carry. The pain and the sadness, that's just something, like, the pain and the sadness comes in waves, but grief is something you always carry. And for me personally, I just think is that if the love that the person you're grieving, the love that they put into this world, carry that as well. Don't just carry the grief. Because that's when, in my opinion, like we talked about earlier, that's when it becomes selfish.
Let them shine through you.
Exactly. Don't live for them, but just live. Like you just said, let them shine through you.
Live better because of them.
Exactly. Let them be a part of you.
I feel like we're coming close to creating a phrase that will live in forever. Like we got it. The ingredients are there. We're cooking.
Like a mad quote right now.
I'm gonna watch it back and we're gonna formulate this sentence. Don't live for them, live better because of them. Something like that. We're gonna make it. We'll make that, and we're just gonna change the world. But okay, I want to end with one thing, right? Just so that the audience can be involved in the. I want to end it with a rhetorical question. Yeah. So I'm going to say the question. You're not going to answer. I'm not going to answer. They're not going to answer. And then we're just going to leave. Episode's going to end. We're going to vanish.
You know what you should do as well? Like this episode, you should just end it with the screen slowly closes.
Oh, I'll do the rhetorical question. I'll do the piece now. Thanks for watching, everyone. It's been a couple weeks. We are going to get back into the swing of things. We're going to try and upload more regularly. If you made it here to this point, you're a legend. We love you, and we hope you can join us for the next episode, hopefully whenever that is. So thanks for watching. So that's done now. Yeah. Now we're gonna do this. Yeah, we're gonna do the rhetorical question, and then we're gonna do the. Yeah. It's gonna end. Shall I do it?
Yeah, go on. Do I look at the camera as well? Yeah.
Oh, see, now I've built up the moment too much now.
Nah, it's calm. Should do it. Wait, 3.
Things you know, it's right there.
What is it?
You wanna say it for me? It's right there. I wrote it down. I thought it was hard when I wrote it down. It's true though. Look, because the rhetorical question is very true, right? If grief, okay, are you ready? You're gonna just do it like that? Is that how you wanna end it?
Yeah? No, I thought you were gonna say it, innit?
I'll say it. The question goes: if grief is the price you pay for loving someone, he's done it. He's only gonna. I was cooking, bro. It was half a sentence left.
What's the end of it?
Listen, no, don't give it away. It's a real. You know what? It's funny because we built it up, but it's a genuine question. It's a genuine question. I'll just say it anyhow. If grief is the price you pay for loving someone, would you choose to love still? That's the question.
Do I say nothing now?
We've gone now. It's happened. Actually, I'm gonna do it now after we did this. And now we're gone.